Hey guys, it's Jalapeno here with another episode of Jalapeno Drywall. And on today's project, I'm going to show you how to repair a drywall crack. First thing you're going to want to do is find out if there's any backing. I'm going to use a stud finder to see if there's any studs behind the drywall there. That way I could put some screws. This home is about 2 years old, so it's bound to have some settling cracks. But anyways, as you can see, I was able to find some studs behind the drywall there. Usually if there's no studs, I recommend cutting the drywall, putting some type of backing behind there. And after you're done screwing everything, make sure you get your utility blade, and we're going to cut a little valley where the crack is, or a beveled edge. The reason for this is that way I could get some mud into the crack without just applying it over. And the type of mud I'm going to use is called hot mud or easy sand. This stuff I like to use just because I could do multiple coats in a short amount of time and I don't have to wait hours and hours for stuff to dry. So first thing I'm doing here is I'm pre-filling that valley like I mentioned earlier, or that beveled edge I mentioned. I try not to leave the mud on too thick on this step. I kind of just apply it and almost take it off as long as it's filling in that valley. And after you pre-fill, it's time to use some mesh tape, or in this case, I'm going to use some fiberfuse. A lot of people say fiberfuse is better. I've used both, and to be honest, they kind of work the same. Let me know in the comments if you think otherwise. And now I'm going to use my 8-inch knife to apply the mud. My main goal here is to try to hide that fiberfuse tape I used. A lot of the times when you do patchwork, you know that tape is the one that you see all the time. I did 2 coats, that way it's going to be nice and flat. You really don't want it to be bumpy, because if it is bumpy, you're going to be able to see it, and that's the whole point of, doing the patch. You don't want to be able to see it. And after you apply 2 coats of the hot mud, make sure it's super flat. And now it's time to texture. Obviously, if you don't have texture, you're pretty much done at that step. Let it dry, sand, prime, and paint. But these walls do have knockdown texture, which isn't too bad. I like to use the Easy Pro system. Just make sure you cover everything really good, because that texture will go everywhere. I'm using the compressor to spray it. And then I also use that magic trowel to knock down the texture. That way it's going to be nice and smooth. I do recommend you let everything dry overnight before you paint it. Once dry, make sure you wipe down the overspray on the sides. It's just going to help blend in the patch a little bit more. Remember, we want that patch to not be visible. Now just go ahead and prime it, paint it, and you should be good. It's always best to check that you don't have any structural issues. The inspector told the homeowners that it's just a settling crack and it should be fine to just cosmetically repair it, and that's it. Jalapeno Solutions. Boom!